What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another deck profile here on the channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the Goro list that I took to last night's Webcam Wednesday. A character that at one point was banned in Retro, but ended up coming back off of the ban list, which is pretty neat. Goro's a really interesting character, 4 hand size, so way lower than your classic, but with 40 health, and ability to pick his 4 cards every single turn. This character is very, very strong. And so that combined with every attack, getting an extra 4 damage for milling cards in your discard pile, give you more options for your next turn. This character is a well-oiled machine. And so let's take a look at the cards we played. So first and foremost, we played triple Vicious Madness, which is neat. This deck has a bit of a sub-theme of unblockable moves. Pay 2 health, it cannot be partially blocked. It's a 4 mid for 8, 4 mid for 12 with Goro, and you pay your 2 of 40 health and you say they can't partially block it, which says that that it is mid block or nothing, and even if so, they're still going to be taking their 8 damage because of Goro. The next one that we have is triple Attack Titan's Haymaker. This card is very cool because it says it can pretty much only be attacked by attack cards, which is interesting. And then it also has a fun sub-theme of once it is built down as a foundation, a thing that my character poorly does, you then get to take and get extra mill and extra damage on all of your moves. So this card is very good. This pushes things up to odd number of damage. Up next, we've got 4 Besieged as our last unblockable move. So the goal here with like all of these is just, hey, as we are playing these pieces, the goal here is, yes, I'm doing a lot of damage, but there's not a lot of speed involved. And so if you just get caught with the wrong type of card, wrong type of block modifier, wrong type of whatever, wrong type of attack zone, it just says that the value of my cards go up exponentially. Card's also a great deadlock ability. It's also a 4 diff, meaning, or excuse me, a 3 diff, meaning that failing these, I can just go pick up 4 Besiege and go on a 3, on a 4, on a 5, on a 6, and feel very, very good about passing all my checks. The next section of attack cards are all replacers, or essentially like redraw cards. The first one being Lethal Slash. I thought this card was really neat. This card's a very cool flow card in the idea of like on the turn that I'm going in, I find like an attack that I know is going to stick, then I find any amount of lethal slashes that could just replace themselves, either with extra attack cards or even better foundation cards, and then you just remove them when you're done. And so it's just like a 3 high for 8 that redraws a foundation, rather than like picking the foundations in your discard pile. And sometimes it like lets you draw a bonus attack card itself, and clears itself, and so it feels very good. All in all, it wasn't incredible. It probably is not worth the 2 check in this deck, but it was fine. Up next, we've got 4 Beast Summonings. This is a 3 mid for 9 stun 1 that says pay 4 of my 40 health, go pick up another one. With the amount of milling that we're doing inside of our deck, combined with it's just massive damage, this is one of our main win conditions when it comes to playing the deck. The issue is, truthfully, you have to be able to scale up your foundation count in order to play out all of these cards. And then our last attack is just Trace Eyes, and the reason we're playing this card is it is an echoed card, and it can spend a foundation in order to essentially draw a bonus attack. Yes, it's a bit of a weenie on its face. It's a 3 damage move, but with Goro making it a 7 damage move, this is a 1 card for 14, as long as I'm down to destroy a foundation, or maybe, it's easy for us to gather momentum, and so that feels very good. No actions, no action sets, no backups, just because of how important it is for us to have foundations in a character like this, because our resources are so slim. Having 25% of our hand be unplayable because it's an action or an asset feels kind of rough. So onto our foundations. Our first aggro foundation is just Soul of the Sword. Enhance mill 3 cards, your attack gets +1 damage. It's more fuel to give you more options for Goro. It also takes in a very similar idea as Aaron's Determination. It pushes your numbers to odd numbers so that you can take and if partialed, get that little extra in. I would be playing 4 of it. I only own 3 of it. So I gotta go pick another one up from Rochester. The next milling card that we have is for Second Saintly Beast, another card. This one's playable on every single attack of the game, my attack and your attack, when it comes to Soul of the Sword. This one is only a once per turn of +2 or -2 speed. Also one of the best deadlock abilities that you can have inside of Retro, of just they flip one of their one of their foundations. It's very, very strong. Up next, one of the most annoying cards in Retro, we've got Energy Absorption. That same idea of mill 3 cards. If I have more Vitality than you, I'm starting at 40. I probably have more than you. This move gets +2 or -2 damage, which is cool. And then it says response, check a 5. After I take damage from an unblocked attack, regain that health. You take and you have 2 of these out here. It's -4 damage. Then anytime they hit me, I gain my health, sometimes even more back. It's very, very strong. Up next, we've got 4 Lust for Battle. This card is essentially +1 speed to the next attempted block if it gets milled off the top of my deck. So I Goro, I mill my 4, I mill one of these. Hey, your next check has -1, but it does carry over to the next attack if they decide not to block this one. So maybe they couldn't block one of them because of a because of a lack of solid block mods, right? Like, hey, they only have highs and lows, and I play my Vicious Madness. From there, I then play, and I mill this. They have -1 of the check. Because they didn't block and I play the Lethal Slash, this still carries over. They still aren't allowed to block, because it's just the next check they make this turn. Up next, we've got 4 Quick to Act. Not only is it very good spam, but this character says that if I'm at 19 health, it's online, because it just cares about being at less than half health. And so if they do 21 damage to me, my Quick to Act is on, which is a lot, right? It is asking them to do a lot of damage in order for me to get it. It's just because I'm a big, beefy, crazy boy. Up next, onto our defense foundations, we've got 4 Incubating. A lot of times, whenever we get an established board, we just don't care about the foundations that are in our discard pile. I'm down to just remove all of them to make my 1 or 2 solid blocks happen. So 1 diff, it's got a low block. It's filling rolls. Up next, a Worthy Vessel. Pay 1 of my 40 health for -2 damage. This card pairs very well with the energy absorption of I will pay my 1 for -2, mill for -2. If it's a 5 damage move, it's still at 1. It hits me for 1. Use energy absorption, gain it back. With my 2 cards, I just negated 5 points of damage. And it also randomly is a bit of discard hate. Flip, remove a card from either player's discard pile. So if my rival is playing things such as, Goro themselves, or things like beast summoning, I can take and just remove them from the game. They don't get to play that, which is, it can be effective. Not all the time though. Up next, we got 4 Homage to My Hero. This card is exclusively here for I have 40 health. I'm going to damage reduce your things down with energy absorption and a Worthy Vessel. You're going to hit me for 2. I'm going to draw a card and potentially block. It's very, very easy on offense to just play out your hand and not have anything left in your hand to defend yourself with. And so being able to take damage reduce and take 1 point of damage and then pick up a block and then go for it is very good. Same idea, we've got a Father's Sin. The hardest turn for Goro is honestly if he goes first and he plays on turn 2. So you draw your hand, and then you draw your 4 cards, and then you play out your 2, maybe 3 foundations because of how ratios work. And then you review your 1, and then you redraw. If the 4 cards that you checked / reviewed weren't awesome beforehand, it's probably not going to be awesome now. This card just says mill 4 cards, attempt to draw a card. We don't even necessarily care about the redraw on this card, but this card does just say put 4 cards, 4 options in your discard pile for next turn you to pick up. And this card feels great to flip over with Goro to refresh that hand. Up next, a foundation that I want to change. I don't love this one, but I did put it, so we'll talk about it. It's just the Azure Nightmare. This card is just a 1/6 that says if stunned, they burn for 2, which means that the threshold for me killing them is a little lower. But it was so hard for me to have cards in my hand. My deck does not necessarily draw a ton. Yes, it does have the Lethal Slashes. This is just the best way for you to draw. But there were a lot of times today that I was like, oh, I need to try and ready this card because it's, you know, I'm trying to go for the win here, and I was like paying 4 health to pick up a beast summon and then discarded the beast summon to ready the Azure Nightmare. It just like felt committed, and I just didn't have a clean way to re-ready it up, which was just not great. And then my last card is just the a little disruption, and that is for Wishing Ward. Wishing Ward is most importantly, it's momentum hate, but secondly, it's on-demand flip in order for my character to have my face downs count as 2 foundations. I don't have a ton of that, and so like having the a worthy vessel, there were some times where I would just like randomly remove cards with a worthy vessel, or I would flip if they have no momentum on the Wishing Ward just to get the foundations, just to try and string out as big as I can. And there it is. There is this. There's Goro. This character is very cool, very strong. I think if you are new to retro, I highly recommend just go pick up a 25-cent Goro and just, hopefully it's 25, I haven't done the math yet, and like just play a cool fire deck, because there's a lot of really cool fire ideas inside of standard. This is one of the best old dogs, new tricks characters that you can have. So with that said, thank you much for watching this video. If you want to play in some of these webcam events, come over and join my Discord. I'll link to that in the description down below, where I send out a ton of information about it. With that said, thank you much for hanging out. Thank you much for watching, and as always, I wish you well.